so me and Lyle were on a run, and it was the first day I ever met Zane. And it was like a Sunday run at the bridge for Mount Pleasant, like they do Sunday runs. And this kid shows up, and me and Lyle were talking. We were really good friends, and we still are. But
yeah, if you're not on the team, you can't be my friend.
No, but so we were running at the bridge, and Zane, we were in really good shape at that point, and Zane stayed with us because he's determined he'll stay with us. And we thought, like, after that run, we were like, hey, we should try and throw a 4x8 together, because we just were introduced to high school running and saw that, like, my brother ran 4x8s and it looked really fun, and I was like, hey, maybe we should start this. And we both talked about it, and then we approached Coach Tammy, and she said if we can get a team together that was competitive nationally, you know, she'll let us do it. But I guess it got mixed in. It was another firework.
Dude, I hate when that happens, when I mistake fireworks or smoke bombs, dude. I mean, that's just not good. Not a good
awful.
Day.
Crazy.
Well, sweet, guys. Well, welcome to the podcast, guys. For those listening, my name is Kyle, and I'm here with Charles Cannon, Will Sloane, and Aidan Richter. And we're here sitting down at a pretty cool spot. We're here at the Mount Pleasant, the Park West facilities, Mount Pleasant track facilities. Am I saying that correct, Aidan?
Yeah.
This is like your second home, and I found out, Will, this is also where you've done a lot of running.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Citadel, you're a Citadel graduate, so I'm a little bit biased, bit of a fan.
Hoorah.
and you guys run here as sort of your home turf.
That we do.
Is that right? So we're really excited to come here and get to record in a spot where you've had some success, and obviously, Will, where you've had some success, and just chat and talk about your accolades, especially Aidan, in track and cross country and all the above, man, because we all sort of enjoy running at times. At times, is that fair to say?
Yeah.
At times, right, yeah. We're kind of fans of running. And so got to give shout outs to some of those people at the Mount Pleasant Recreation Department, because got to give them a big thanks. And we'll be sending them some extra special thanks for allowing us to come here in a public area, you know, owned by the public. So it's one thing to get a business to sign off on allowing us to record, but it's really cool to have a municipality give us permission to record here at a podcast. So, and we're outdoors, so we'll have a little bit of the nature kind of chiming in with us. So, you know. So first off, I want to start out with the question that everyone's wondering, man: track or cross country? We gotta end it.
Track. 100%.
Track 100%.
No doubt, track.
100%. Okay. And you got the track shirt on, Will. Is that what you're gonna go?
I'm sorry,
with?
I'm cross country.
Cross country. Okay.
I hate doing circles.
We got.
Good point.
Dude, just like the NASCAR joke, I'm gonna go straight, and then I'm gonna turn left. I'm gonna turn left again. I'm gonna turn left again, and again.
Okay.
Yes, pretty much. How about you, Charles? What are you with?
Track is kind of exciting to me. Cross country is cool.
Track's exciting.
But track is definitely exciting. Like just to watch, even if you're, you know, just in the stands or whatever, it's pretty cool.
What makes it exciting for you, man?
You know, I guess just
And I'm a fan. I'm not like
right, yeah. I guess the deal is like, so I guess in some of the more the sprinting events, right? So the 400, the 100, right? It's just like all out, all max effort, right? And so sometimes I think what can get lost in some of the longer races is just like the time, right? Because most people are just kind of interested in like the beginning and the end. Obviously, the athletes are concerned about everything in the middle, right? But from a fan perspective, that's what they're seeing.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to watch cross country.
yeah, definitely,
Probably.
It is.
definitely.
At some point, do you think cross country they're gonna start giving athletes GoPros, and that's gonna be like the way of making it a sport to watch?
That might be fun. I don't know.
Could you see that, Aidan?
Yeah. That might
Have
be
you
fun.
ever done that? Have you run with a GoPro?
No.
Okay.
No. I think that would be. I've thought of it before though.
Yeah.
Like just for fun. Why
They
not?
could make it theatrical.
Yeah.
You know, start at you have
Get
you
them
have
behind
announcers.
and,
Yeah,
all
you have
around
front,
GoPro,
back.
yeah.
The announcers on ESPN, they're like, they're panning from guy to guy, and then if anybody does something weird like falls, they can pan to that camera, start giving them nice encouragement.
That's cool.
I could totally see that, dude. Yeah. Yeah, it needs to happen.
Yeah.
It needs to happen.
That'd be cool.
And the idea started right here.
Yeah.
Generation Giants. So Aidan, man, just give us a quick rundown of where you are today. I know you're a rising senior here in Charleston. Give us a quick rundown of where you go to school, kind of what you do,
Okay.
and that sort of thing.
All right, so I'm a rising senior at Bishop England High School. I run track and cross country, mainly track. But right now we're in the we're going into the cross country season. So right now I'm getting in a lot of miles and doing long runs at night with most of the team and doing stuff like that.
At night, what do you mean? Is that just
like,
after the sun goes down? Or are we
we'll just
talking
go
midnight?
to the beach. Not midnight. Well, like not in the heat of the day. We'll just go what we've been doing recently is going out to the beach and just getting 6 or 7 miles in consistently. So that's pretty good. Because this week high school made a rule where you're not allowed to like compete with a coach on a marked team. I don't know why that is, but so we've just been doing like most of the guys just go out and get a bunch of miles in, and so we've been doing that. And I've got a cross country camp for BE coming up soon that I'm going to, and a bunch of the guys are going to. So just a lot of miles right now. So getting ready for cross country season and then hoping that will lead into a good track season.
Yeah. And so cross country camp, that's something I played baseball, football in high school and stuff like that. I understand what a camp there looks like. And Will, I know you've probably done many camps being a college runner and that sort of thing. So help me understand what do you do at a cross country camp?
So I've been to a few. I've been to a few Nike ones at UNC Asheville, UNC Chapel Hill, and our BE one. And so pretty much what it is, you get there and early morning they wake you up at like 5 o'clock, go on a run for 6 or 7 miles, and then you'll come back, eat, do fun camp stuff, and then go out for another run in the evening.
Okay.
So it's pretty much running.
It's a 2-a-day with some fun activities.
2-a-day with some fun activities. Although the second run is really easy. Like it's just a shakeout, get mileage in run, not really a bust your butt run, but yeah. And then at the camp, our BE camp, it's pretty much the same thing except for you wake up a bit later, so it's nicer.
Okay.
You don't have to wake up at the crack of dawn, so it's like 8 o'clock. You get out there and run, and yeah, it's a lot of fun though. It sounds a lot worse than it actually is. Great. It is a lot of fun.
How long do those camps normally go?
6 days.
6 days.
The one I'm going to is 6 days, so it's 6 days to a week, kind of right around in there.
Yeah.
Plus or minus a day.
Yeah. So you're doing 2 days. Will, do they do 2-a-days for like 6 days straight? What do you know?
Yeah, that's pretty standard. What I really got out of the camps usually was the dieting aspect of it, because that's, I think, something a lot of athletes miss, especially through that high school and going into college, is proper dieting to get you prepared for runs and races and all.
Yeah. So tell me more. I mean, are there any takeaways, dieting or other, just off the bat that come to mind?
The one camp I went to, like that was Nike sponsored, like they had classes every day. So you would do like 3 classes and it would be about health, hydration, running, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I got a lot out of that camp. It talked about like the training, like what's behind it, all like the training pyramids and kind of what like you need to do and why you do what you do. So it was just like an overall like greater understanding of like why you do what you do and why your coach tells you to do this, even though it doesn't make sense at the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we always know everything. No matter how old we are, we always know everything. So what would be the best food and the worst food then that you'd recommend for a runner?
For a runner?
Start with Aidan.
I'd say fish. Like, honestly, I think fish helps a lot. Like, you don't taste it again later.
Yeah, right.
Like
yeah.
something.
Yeah, do the heartburn if you ever eat like a burger and then try to run later.
You taste it and it's
the absolute
throws
worst.
You off. Yeah. So probably like tuna fish sandwich, honestly, is a godsend for running. Yeah.
Got it.
I'll check that out. Will, what do you think?
I would say the pretty common one, pasta, and the reason for that is the added carbs, because they burn faster and it's easy energy for your body. So a day before, if you enjoy a good pasta before a race, it usually helps.
We talking whole wheat? We talking regular? Does it not matter? What do you think?
I go with whole wheat, but I like to be healthy overall.
Yeah.
I think it helps.
Okay.
That's cool.
Good to know. Good to know.
Aidan, any particular type of fish?
I've usually done tuna fish. Like I do tuna fish. Also, pasta helps a lot, but like tuna fish, and that's usually my go-to because it's kind of easy. But I guess salmon's good too. Like my family has a lot of salmon.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, it's a little on the pricey side. So
yeah, a little bit.
Temper
that. Every once in a while, salmon.
Can you get salmon in a can?
I think you can.
I don't know if I'd recommend that.
I don't know if I would, but
The
definitely
taste
tuna
might be
fish
off.
is like my go-to.
Will, did you ever do weird like protein stuff or anything at the Citadel? I did tuna in a can for a season at the Citadel, and that I felt okay, but most of my friends would rather me not eat tuna in a can.
No, I
Did you
never
ever do
tried
any-
anything
you
weird
never-
like that. Just,
Thanks for hanging me out to
just
dry
powder.
there, bro. Thanks for hanging me out.
Mostly powder.
What did you do? Protein shakes? Yeah, just like a normal person. No, I did. I experimented some weird, unusual things. I'll say at the Citadel, just to see, hey, does this work? And as long as it doesn't kill you, it's okay, right?
Yeah,
You know? I tried doing like a dozen eggs a day, seeing if that would like do anything, because eggs are supposed to be one of the best complete proteins out there.
Right.
It didn't really do anything crazy for me though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried it.
So-
Have y'all done any just maybe unusual things that either worked or you found out didn't work as far as training or bettering yourself?
I guess what I would say I've done, and after I was done running my career and everything, was see, okay, how much does sleep and your proper dieting really affect your quality of working out?
Nice.
So
great
I've went a
question.
couple weeks in a row getting poor sleep, which I didn't need help with, the Citadel
At
and
the
everything.
Citadel, yeah, right. And you were a
4
Navy
hours.
contract for a
Yeah,
while, so
so-
you're waking up.
Rarely did I have enough sleep anyways, but it was interesting to see my quality of workouts. Just, we're talking in some of my runs cutting 10 seconds off my times and all. Just,
Really?
hmm
From getting additional sleep.
Additional sleep, better dieting and everything.
I'm sure at a certain point, though, you're just kind of milking it. The
Oh.
sleep, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, at what point, if I slept 12 hours, I don't know,
Right.
would that cut 20 seconds off my time?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it works like that.
Okay.
It's a process you have to catch back up, but it's not like just over a couple days you can catch up on that sleep. It's over a process of weeks of getting consistent 8 hours or more of sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
Crazy.
Good to know.
So now I guess back to your question first, Kyle, was what is like the one food, if you all could choose, like that you have to stay away from as a runner, or at least in season?
Stay away from fast food. Would you
Yeah.
go with that? Like burgers, that kind of stuff. Is,
Yeah.
I got a question. Does Cane's chicken count as fast food?
No.
Okay, good.
That's okay.
Good. I've been killing the Cane's chicken game, dude, and their sauce is crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You always got to get the extra sauce when you go to Cane's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like most fast food though, but I will eat Cane's chicken.
Okay.
because it's good.
Yeah.
Make an exception.
That's
for
right.
that.
That's it.
exception for
That's
Cane's.
it. Well, it's kind of a different level because you sit down, I guess, and then
Yeah, it's not fast food.
yeah, and if you wait long enough, they'll bring it to you. So it's
Yeah.
basically fine dining.
Oh my goodness.
I like that
man.
logic.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to think too if there was ever anything when I was training. When I was I was doing Ironman a while back. Yeah, I go in seasons. I just I'll get back into it at some point. But I'm trying to think. Peanut butter was always my staple, but maybe that may not work for the track crew because I don't know if fats probably help track. But at least for me, doing more distance stuff, call it anything over a 10K. I always felt like fats were really, really helpful. Have y'all ever experimented with that, or do y'all suggest peanut butter?
I haven't really gotten into no, not
You
necessarily.
didn't get into the peanut butter.
I haven't gotten.
It'll change your life.
I'll try it. I'll give it a try.
It'll change your life one way or another. I
Okay.
don't know if it'll make it better, but it'll have some effect.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's something you can get away with closer to a race than some of the other foods. Usually I try to do a 2-hour minimum before a race of eating. I just stop before then because if not, you have all that crap sloshing in your stomach and all.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So before a race, do you eat like a big breakfast or no breakfast at all?
Usually an average breakfast. I don't usually change that up because usually I'm well awake before the meet's going to even start.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. What about
Yeah,
you? Aiden?
I'll do like a pretty average breakfast, but like you said, like 2 hours before your race, no food. Try not to eat anything. Although sometimes I will have like half a granola bar just to hold me over.
Mhm.
Nothing crazy because usually I throw up after my races.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It always
That might be
happens.
something you want to figure out.
Yeah, I know, but so it's not. I don't know, but it's my dieting because I'll throw up if I have nothing in my stomach. It'll just be like nasty, like just bile or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But then if I
Yeah.
have something in my stomach, I'll throw up anyways. So I'm just.
I'm picturing the coach bringing the trash can up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's clockwork, man.
I get that in the trash
I
can.
still remember the first week at the Citadel. It was still Hell Week, and it was the first PT test we do. So, Will, you might remember the first one. And, number one, the upperclassmen didn't know the route, so half of us ran 3 miles. We didn't make the right turn. But I still remember coming around the first lap, and almost all my classmates are on the side of the road puking. And I never, to this day, I still don't understand why.
Yeah.
Because you're just running like a mile, and you just enrolled at a military college. It's like, good luck, bro.
Wow.
So I don't know what causes what you're talking about.
Yeah, my coach, he said it's like when you, because it's only in the 800. No other event do I even feel close.
Only in the half mile.
Only in the half mile. And so he said it's like when you're kicking on like the last 200, it's like your shoulders, they get really tensed up, and then that like constricts your stomach. And it's like my form in the last 200 meters. He said it's something like that. And some of my friends, like one of my friends does get it. He gets the same thing. And I think we have the same like shoulder thing. Our shoulders like hunch up to get more power.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
yeah, so
I used to do that too, just being from a football background. For some reason, I'm like, I'm going to get more speed if I use my shoulders.
yeah.
But I don't think it works like that.
No, so I got to figure that out. It's definitely form, because I've done it where I've like really like mentally really relaxed my shoulders,
Okay.
and I don't even feel nearly as bad.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
We were talking about that last week. We were with Zane. You know Zane.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. He said that was one tip that he got from a coach, was relaxing his shoulders.
Yeah.
So is there another tip that comes to mind too? Maybe Will or Aidan, that really helped you guys in your running game?
Not really. Just try to stay focused in the race, because I know my first couple races when I first got into running in general was I just lollygag and think about, hey, what am I having for dinner tonight, or anything but the race, kind of.
Yeah.
And just learning to zoom in on the race and stay focused really made a huge difference. I know that sounds silly, but it's surprising how many people I've talked to and said they've done the same thing.
Yeah. In other words, focusing, staying focused. Yeah, that's key.
Yeah, so how do you guys keep your focus? Like, you know, from my experience, there's a lot of people in cross-country races, right? So how do you all keep your focus when there's a bunch of people passing you or you're passing them without wanting to speed up or slow down?
For me, it's like during a cross-country race, like I have most of my like friends around me on my team, and then also other teams.
Right.
Like I know most of the other kids, so
Right.
I'll like I'll know like this guy goes out fast, this guy is pretty conservative, kind of stays there, so I'll stay right with them, like I did last year, where I would make it in my head. I would say I can't pass this kid until the first mile, because I did that in the beginning of the season and I just died the last few.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like knowing who's around you and knowing the field like relatively well.
Okay.
Keep it tactical. That's how I stay in it. Just keep my brain thinking about, okay, who do I need to pass when, like you do, Aidan, and also try to be a little aggressive, especially in the woods, because that always gets me pumped up and ready to go in a race too.
Yeah.
Because you'd be amazed how aggressive it gets in the woods with runners.
Okay.
Fighting for positions, pushing.
That's
each
why
other
we need
and
the
everything.
GoPros, man. GoPros are going to save the sport.
The side spectators never see.
Right.
Yeah.
Pushing and the,
Dude, that's going to be the next drama, man. Sport's going to take off, dude. I'm telling you, and I love CrossFit. If they can make a sport out of people working out and jumping rope, then you can make a sport that's been around a lot longer than CrossFit. Well, it is a sport, but you can make a spectator sport out of it.
That's fair.
Granted, track is, I guess, a spectator sport because it is in a stadium, but I guess we're talking more about cross country in that regard.
Yeah.
People need to see what goes on in these
yeah.
endurance races, man.
Yeah. That's crazy that you said it's like it's very tactical, right? Because, you know, as we were kind of saying earlier, like most people only kind of see the beginning and the end, right? But you guys are probably thinking like, all right, well, I'm a few seconds off pace, so I need to pick it up and all that. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna blast a few quick questions then, since you bring up pace. Do y'all have a favorite sports watch or anything that y'all use?
I don't even use a sports watch.
What?
I just go out and run.
Life's on the edge.
You don't know your pace?
Well, I have friends that have watches, but like I don't know.
Okay.
I like just going out and running and getting a time afterwards, like having my phone like on a timer. And
So you have your phone on you then?
I'll run with music. Yeah, I'll run with. We usually
nice.
run with my speaker and my phone.
What are you normally listening to?
Ooh, right now it's been a lot of Post Malone's new album. It's been a lot of that, and then
That's pretty good.
Yeah, because that's just I don't know. It's a really good running music. It gets you hyped up, but not like
I feel
too
so
hyped
out of
up
place
for-
because I don't know what that is. Say it one more time.
Post Malone's new album.
Post Malone.
Yeah.
You've
so-
probably heard a couple of his songs.
I'm so off the grid, man. I have no idea what that is right now.
Yeah, a lot of his music, but it alternates depending on, because different people have like, we say like, oh, you can do music today, so different people have different tastes. So like when I do it, it has recently been Post Malone, but when other people do it, it'll be other artists, and just kind of the albums and playlists and radio stations.
All right, so for others that live under a rock like me, when you number one, Post, is that his first name? Who is this guy?
His name's Austin Post.
I
think it's Austin
Post Malone.
He's a pop artist, not necessarily a rapper. He kind of like declined that title.
Yeah.
Kind of hip hop.
Yeah, he's
what
like
do you think?
hip hop, kind of his own thing. He does his own thing.
Alternative hip hop.
Yeah, I think that's a good. That's a good
I
word.
gotta check him out. Maybe that's the ingredient I'm missing in my running game.
Yeah, he's good for working out music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do like him.
Gotcha. Will, what do you listen to?
I would say I'm a big fan of Tool.
Okay.
Fan Tool. I enjoy
A little bit of kind of old school. Is that
Yeah.
fair to say old school now?
Yeah, I think so.
We can probably call that old
A
school.
lot of the songs I like from them in the '90s. So
Yeah. Yeah. I never got into their playlist. I like Vicarious. I like that song partially because it was on Guitar Hero. And I could smoke that song on Guitar Hero. So.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm kind of all over too. I'm trying to think lately what I've really been listening to. I'll give a shout out to the Devil Wears Prada. I like the Devil Wears Prada. They're heavy. You'd probably know them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Still making music. My old favorite band, As I Lay Dying, is back. Do you know them?
Not as familiar.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy. But they're back. I can't even get into their story. It's another story for another day, but they're back. So that's usually what I'm going at. Charles, what are you getting at?
Yeah, man. For music, I make the mistake of listening to songs that really like hype me up. And so if I'm going, on like a 2 mile or 3 mile or whatever, usually I'm like dusted by the halfway point. So I find myself, Meek Mill kind of gets me hyped up. But actually, I think like the best music that I run to is Red Hot Chili Peppers, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just really relaxed, and I'll let my nerves and excitement kick in the last few. But
Okay.
I like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I can appreciate that. Yeah, I'll throw on the 90s music, Pandora Station.
Yeah.
I'll jive with that. All right, next question. Favorite brand? You have a favorite brand?
Adidas.
Adidas?
Yeah.
Okay. Why Adidas?
I've been going through like spikes and like shoes and all that. Right now I'm wearing Brooks, but like so I just transitioned to Brooks. But
okay.
At least spike wise, like I had Nike spikes. I didn't really like them. I had Saucony. I had every brand, name it. I had it. Never really was like, oh, these are really good. And then I got a pair of the Adidas Adizero MDs, whatevers.
Yeah.
And they changed my life. They were
okay.
Like it was a significant like difference like of how they felt because they had like a hard plate on the bottom for distance shoes,
Right.
and it just like for the last 200 it just kept me on my toes, and so I could just kick past anyone.
Wow.
And
So that helped
really-
prevent foot flexion? Is that what's going on?
In the last like 200 or so, you're tired,
Right.
of course. So like you don't really have the strength to stay on your toes. You kind of just get to the finish line, and those just kind of force you to be on your toes because you can't flex your foot. So, and they're really comfortable, so you can also like chill and relax in the pack, and then make a really strong kick. So that's my style. So
Okay.
I really like them. Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah. Will, you got a favorite brand?
Never tried the Adidas Spikes brand. That's interesting. I'll
Yeah,
have to check that out. I'm
definitely.
big on Nike for track, but Asics for cross country.
Come on now.
Nice.
Asics. I'll give
Nice.
I'll give a definite second on that one, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Asics fan. I've run all my marathon Ironmans in Asics shoes. Usually longer than I should. They'll be like falling apart with holes in them, like they're turning into slippers, and I'm still trying to run in them. It's probably partially why I'm dealing with some hip instabilities and such. So Asics, yeah. I've been on the gel Nimbus pretty much since high school. That's been my deal. So is that yours too?
Oh yeah,
Nimbus?
yeah. I like
on
the,
now.
enjoy the Nimbus.
Come on.
Interesting.
Charles, where you at?
For brands, man, I'm kind of just a Nike guy, but I'm just now getting into it's a CrossFit-based workout company called Noble.
Oh yeah, I've seen them on. Did you find them on Instagram? that's where I've seen them.
Probably so. I know they have like a really large social media presence.
Yeah, they're strong on there.
But I got some of their shoes and they feel pretty good, like for CrossFit and stuff. So I might be branching out from the Nike umbrella. cool.
Okay.
Trying out some new things.
So I've been seeing you lifting the weights lately, bro.
Yeah, man.
Would you snatch somewhere in the 200 realm?
Yeah, man.
Recently.
Yeah, that was actually really cool a few weeks ago. So I've been chasing the 200-pound snatch, man. Feels
sick,
like
bro.
For a year, dude. And I finally got it. So it was really cool.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Not that I've been there. I haven't. I'm not there yet.
Man, I
I'm
guess
a little bit lighter
just,
too.
It's just cool, like whenever you work for something, man, and you get it. But then there's also like that competitive piece that's just like, oh, okay, well, now let's go for 225 or whatever, right? So, what are some of you guys' goals in regards to running?
In regards to running, I'd like to run a really good 800 this year. So
Define really good,
really
man.
good
Because
would
really
be-
good, my really good is gonna be different than your really good, man. Are we talking
I've
best in the universe? Are we talking?
I've been,
talking 1 minute and 50 seconds?
I've been running like 157. Freshman year, I ran a split at nationals of a 156, official by the
nice.
clock.
Freshman year.
Freshman year, so I was running
Okay.
201 in the open, but 156 in the split, and I was like on top of the world with that.
Yeah.
'Cause it was by the clock too. Like the clock and the camera had that split, so like no one could tell me it was like it was a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it. I'm the coolest kid ever. Whatever. And so
I mean, being 14, that is kind of cool.
I
you
was
know?
on top of the world, and then sophomore year, I ran a 157, and I was pretty happy with that. And then junior year, I ran another 157, but I guess I became a lot more tactical with my racing. Like other years, I would go out and like 54 and come back and run a 157. So it was the most painful way to do it.
Yeah.
And then now I'm doing a lot better. I'm doing like even splits or whatever. But I feel like I could have done a lot better this year, and a little bit disappointed, but I think next year I want to run 150, 152 between there.
Nice.
I want that. That's why I'm really cross country. I've been going really hard because last year cross country wasn't great. I did a lot of track over the summer, so then I had no time to do summer distance, and I think that really killed the rest of my year. So this year that's not happening. I'm hitting all the miles in right now and making that goal a priority from now.
Yeah. Will, what are those numbers? How do those stack up in the college world that you can recall?
150, 152 would be, at least in SoCon, play would be fairly competitive, but you'll get there as you go through college running, but 148s, 147s would get you competitive.
Yeah. And I mean, that's competitive with probably the best in the conference?
Yeah,
or
and
what?
SoCon. We have a pretty strong conference. I mean, Furman's well known. Nationally ranked. Actually, Ohio State's old coach came down and started coaching at Furman.
Man.
Oh, wow.
Very well known.
I didn't realize they were that big. That's awesome.
They're a powerhouse.
Dude, South Carolina, I'm just saying, is taking over, dude.
Yeah, man.
What was it? USC's won baseball all the time. Then Western or Eastern Carolina, one of the – is it Eastern or Western?
I think it was Eastern.
East Carolina. Yeah, it's probably not a Western Carolina. East Carolina won baseball the other year. We got runners. That's awesome. It's good to hear South Carolina repping well. So, yeah. And those times, too, I mean, that's competing against 22-year-olds, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
so that's phenomenal if you're able to be competitive. Start to be competitive at 17. You're 17 now, right?
17.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
17. And 14-year-old hitting a solid split, too.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's crazy.
That's awesome.
That's really crazy.
Well, I wanted to read this, kind of segueing a little bit. And you were talking just now, Charles, about it's really cool when you make a goal and then you hit it. So we've got this. I pulled a little bit of an article here. I copied it into a note thing. So I hope I copied the appropriate part that I want to read. I'm just going to read right now, and we'll see how it goes. So this is from an article written about you and about the Mount Pleasant Track Club. So this is pretty cool. Mount Pleasant never had a relay team before. A few friends pleaded with Coach Dennis to let them run together 2 years ago. Bishop England Jr. Aidan Richter was the main proponent. The team progressively improved in the summer, and this summer entered nationals ranked second in the nation, just 1 second behind the Houston Track Club. Richter was the only runner still left from the original team. He and his teammates Jack Carson of Wando and Logan Disiak of Bishop England analyzed the finest minutia, hoping to find some advantage over Houston. They knew everything about the Houston team, Dennis said. They knew they were 400 runners running the 800. They had us on speed, but we had them on strength. If we could just break them during the race, we wouldn't have to worry about being out sprinted at the end. 2 runners in, Jackson propelled Mount Pleasant from 4th to 2nd place before handing off to Richter for the final leg. Richter pulled even with Houston over the first 400 meters. Houston put so much effort into fending him off early. There was nothing left late. Richter broke away down the final 400 meters and cruised across the finish line alone. Mount Pleasant won by more than 7 seconds. It was a fitting finish for the creator and now leader of the program's only relay team. That's a pretty neat article, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. That was a local Mount Pleasant article talking about y'all's success. So could you share a little bit about that experience?
Okay, yeah.
And everything.
Originally, it was 3 years before that. So I want to say freshman year, that me and Lyle, he wasn't on the team yet. He tried to get on it, but it was just so competitive to get on.
Sure.
So me and Lyle were on a run. And it was the first day I ever met Zane. And it was like a Sunday run at the bridge for Mount Pleasant, like they do Sunday runs. And this kid shows up, and me and Lyle were talking. We were really good friends, and we still are. But
yeah, if you're not on the team, you can't be my friend.
No, but so we were running at the bridge, and Zane, we were in really good shape at that point. And Zane stayed with us because he's determined he'll stay with us. And we thought, like, after that run, we were like, hey, we should try and throw a 4x8 together, because we just were introduced to high school running and saw that, like, my brother ran 4x8s and it looked really fun. And I was like, hey, maybe we should start this. And we both talked about it. And then we approached Coach Tammy, and she said if we can get a team together that was competitive nationally, she'll let us do it. And that year, nationals were in Jacksonville, Florida. So we got a team together, and we were pretty decent. We were a decent team, and went down there, and on our qualified into 9th place, which there's 2 heats, and heat 1 has 8 people in it, and the rest, the heat 2, the slow heat, has all the rest of the people in it. So we were 1 out from that, and had to run alone, pretty much alone. And we destroyed the field because I think we had to have like an alternate run or something like that. Absolutely destroyed the field and got 4th that year, I think it was. So that was our first year of it, and we got 4th. So we got a taste of it. We were like, okay, this is what it is. And then we're gonna come back next year and do the same thing. And so the next year, nationals were in Sacramento, California, and we all worked. That was our goal. All we talked about the whole year was how we're gonna go back and we're gonna see what we can do. Although we were in the younger end of the age group, all of our friends that were competitive for the places. So there's 2 years, 15, 16. Was it 15, 16? Yeah, it was 15, 16. The age group 15, 16. We were all 15. So we would be running against a little bit older people, but it wasn't too bad. So we went out there, and again, we were in 9th. So we were in the slow heat and destroyed the slow heat, and then I think we got 7th that year. I think it was we got 7th that year. So and it was this most stressful thing ever, sitting on like the stands by the finish line, watching the next heat go, looking at time, and then praying that other people would slow down.
Literally break a leg, guys.
We were like, no. Oh, we're good. And so, because top 8 is all American, so top 8 you get a hat, which was like, if you got a hat, you're cool.
I learned all this stuff the other week. You get a hat, you get a ring.
Oh, you get national championship, you get a ring.
That's cool.
And then the next year we're like, all right, this is our year. We're gonna do it next year. And so the next year, and the first 2 teams were pretty much the same people, like a little 1 or 2 changes in and out. But then the 3rd team, I met Logan Deschek through our BE program, and then Jack Carson, who is another kid that we ran with, his brother, who runs the 400 and stuff. And so we were like, hey, y'all should try out, because we did a practice tryout. So I practiced one day. Everyone that wanted to be on the team ran an 800, and then the top 6 would be on the team. So 4 would run 2 alternates.
Right.
And because you can only put that on your roster, and then we'll have more runoffs as the season goes on. And so they made it. Jack and Logan made it, and Logan had the race of his life. He'd been running 2:10 pretty much all high school season, and then ran 2:03 to make the team, because he wanted to make the team.
Right.
And it's a lot. Of pressure too.
If you really want something,
really
somehow your mind, your body can figure out how to do it. You may not get it on the first try, but you can get it.
Yeah, and so we pushed through the whole season, ran great times. We were all like we're all really close friends, like even now. Like we all hang out together, and so we pushed through the whole season and got to nationals, and we're finally in the fast heat. We ranked second.
Nice.
So we were happy. And then went to nationals, and going into it, we knew they were all really fast. Like we had 2 of them in the 400 ran 46s. Like they had speed, because I run 51, 52. They had incredible amounts of speed. So their like game plan, we thought going into it was they would have all their fast 800 guys go first to get a lead, and then hoping that our anchor, would catch them in the last 200 and they could just blow me out of the water, was their kind of plan. But we stayed with them and broke them. And by the time when I got the baton, I knew it was the guy that ran the 46. So I just took him out as fast as I can. I was right on his shoulder, breathing down his back. I tried to be as like scary as possible, just like breathing as loud as I could, being as close to him as I could without like causing a foul or whatever, without touching him, and just scaring him and making him go so fast around the first lap. And then he just once we crossed that first lap, he just dropped, and I was like, okay, well, that's it. And then you could see on the big screen, I saw I was so far ahead. And I just kind of cruised in the last 200 because I wanted to enjoy the win and not be throwing up on this.
I just wanted to enjoy the moment. I took a stop just to tie my shoe.
Took a victory lap, man.
Well, I didn't want to throw up at the end after, so I was like, I just want to have fun with the friends.
Now, would that have looked cool, or would that have been a bad thing if you had just crossed the finish line
and just
then
fell over? I don't know.
I don't know. When people think that's like an admirable thing.
I don't know, but yeah. So that was I'm like, I'm not gonna throw up, so I'll just cruise down the last 100. I still went fast. I ran like a 159 just because I went out so fast with the kid. But last 100 meters, I just kind of shut down because I didn't want to throw up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was our kind of story. And then we got rings. They sent you a free ring, like they sized you. And I should have brought it, but it has a big number 1 on it. So I showed that to all my friends. I'm like, hey, look at that. And you get a shirt, you get a hat. And it was awesome experience.
Yeah.
I loved every second of it.
That's really all. Cool. See, I'm all about the swag, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all about getting the swag.
Yeah.
Anytime I do a race, half the time you don't care about the race. You care about the T-shirt, the hat you get, bro.
The medal.
The medal.
Kind of cool.
That's what it's about, man.
Yeah. So
let me ask you this. You competed years ago, and then there were years in between. I'm imagining there was a lot of anticipation for you. I mean, you guys were probably super excited, maybe a little anxious.
Yeah.
I mean, describe how that feeling was, and maybe even if you learned anything from the experience, and you were envisioning the success, and then you worked hard, and then it seemed to happen. I mean, do you feel like you have any takeaways?
Honestly, it was just the build up to it was perfect, because it was like we did really well, and then we went to the bottom of the age group, so we didn't expect it to do as well, but we did do well for how we thought, time wise and everything, and so. It was just kind of a slow build-up and we also undefeated at nationals because we were in the slow heat and we won the slow heat. So we've never lost a heat.
Nice. Undefeated at nationals. Come on.
So that was like kind of another thing. We were like, all right, we're undefeated. So even though we won every heat. So we were like, we're not going to lose another heat. We're going to lose a heat at all. So that was another mental thing that we were talking about. And then also, but the stress, although I don't think there was that. Some of the other guys were stressed out, but I wasn't really that stressed out because they were all like some of my best friends. So I was kind of relaxed to be like with them. Like I was like, it's not like they're strangers, and because I know they're going to run how they're expected to run because like I trust them, they trust me. And so we had like that kind of trust going on. And so I wasn't nervous because usually you're nervous about like, oh, is this guy going to do what he's supposed to do? Is he going to run his time? Oh no, he's going to lose it for us. It's like I know that they're going to run what we've said they are, because like they're not going to lose for me and the other kids, and I'm not going to lose for them. So we kind of had that mutual trust of we're going to do this because that's what we've set out to do for 3 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Will, man, I mean, do any stories come to mind or any encouragement there come to mind for you from your experiences in college and the successes in high school?
Not so much. I guess the only race that's notable to me was I remember a mile race, CCSD championships for us. And we all knew probably Wando was going to take it. They typically do each year for it. West Ashley's not known to have a very strong program. But I remember getting in there in fourth. My buddy, Todd Page, took it out really hard. I mean, was splitting about 56s for the first couple laps, which is fast for the mile. I mean, a little outrageous, but he had a pretty big lead, almost 100-meter lead on everybody. But the last lap, that's when the Wando kids started kicking it in. And I was like, well, I'm in fourth. I'm exhausted, and I want to get a medal today. So I went with them. Yeah. And I just remember we caught up to him around the last 200-meter stretch. I saw the two Wando kids pass him, and I'll never forget his face as I'm passing him as well. He's just like had the scaredest look on his face. I felt so bad, but I'm like, I'm getting a medal today. So I just took off with the Wando kids. Yeah. I only got third. I was hoping to get some appreciation from my coach. He's like, well, if you weren't lollygagging the last 100 meters, maybe you could have got second. I was like,
it's like old school coaching there.
Yeah. But I just remember that as a notable race for me. Had a lot of fun with it, so it was enjoyable. And I know you mentioned you're close with your team, and I think that's awesome. I think that's one thing I really appreciated going through college was my teammates. I mean, they're family to me. We contact each other on a daily basis and are constantly just it's awesome. I do have a question if you don't mind asking, though.
Yeah, man.
What got you into running?
Well, I got into it when I was 7.
Oh,
so
wow.
I've been running pretty much all my life. I tried all the sports. I tried basketball, I tried soccer, and I was never athletic as a little kid. In soccer, there was like a sand pit in the field we played in. I just made sandcastles, and I didn't really care about soccer. Yeah, there's a little sand pit, and I just remember making sandcastles, me and another kid. And basketball, I was the only tall kid. So my friends were like, oh, I'll play basketball on our team because you can like pick your teams and you could do it with your friends. Yeah. So they were like, oh, be on our team. You know, you're tall. You'll be like decent at basketball. I wasn't good at all. And then my dad ran in college and high school. And so he was like, you know, soccer obviously isn't your thing. And I didn't really enjoy it. I just did it because I wanted the trophy and the snack at the end of every game.
Right on. Right on. Or at the halftime.
Or at the halftime snack.
You get the oranges.
Too. Yeah, oranges. Yeah. And so that was the only reason I really did it. And my parents are always like, you know, you're going to do a sport regardless of what it is, just to stay active and do something. So they don't care what it is. But my dad was like, you know, I ran. Maybe you should try it. Why not?
Wait, why didn't they just start that from the beginning?
Well, he didn't want to like push us into
son,
running.
now that you're 13 years old, I want you to know that I ran in college. It'd probably be a good idea.
No, but he didn't want to like push us into it.
That's cool.
Because a lot of times, like he's seen and I've seen parents like push their kids like, you know, I ran, you're gonna run, you're gonna run great, like you're gonna be out practicing every day. And if it's not what you like really enjoy, running sucks. Yeah. Like running's not fun. Yeah. And so he was kind of like, you know, give it a try, like go see how it is. And he was a distance runner, and of course I sprinted the first few years. And I didn't really care. I was, again, that same kind of whatever, you know, I was just a little kid. I was lost, like mentality. But, you know, I was happy. I was out there. I was high jumping. I was shot put. I was doing everything, and I was just having a blast, you know. A lot of my friends were out there, you know. And then we moved to, that was in California. I used to live in California. And then we moved to South Carolina, and I was kind of like, all right, you know, I'll try a season. Because not many of my friends were on the team, so I couldn't really goof off because I didn't know anyone yet. And so then I was like, oh, I'm actually decent at the sport.
Yeah.
And so then after that was kind of my wake-up call. But I got into it because, I couldn't do anything else. I was very uncoordinated. And
Yeah, I'll share this story kind of leading into a question of how do you make running fun, or how do you make this stuff fun? How do you make anything fun? You know, can you force fun? Or, you know, all these are questions. And I'll share this story that I would lead the younger cadets at the Citadel, especially junior year. Junior year, I was just all over the place. I mean, I did Ironman, I did BVA training, did all this stuff. So junior, and then I got to lead knobs. And so I would tell the knobs, I gave them this advice, you know, get to where you can run 4 miles. Like choose a point and reach that goal. Like start with a goal. And I asked them, why do you think I tell you to run 4 miles? And, you know, they had great guesses like, well, it's twice the PT test and it's this and that, which is true. But I told them to run 4 miles because that's the distance from here to Marion Square and back. And Marion Square is this awesome place downtown where, you know, we're at the Citadel, mostly guys. There's all these girls out there, you know, taking sunbathing class outside. And so you got to find just whatever gets you excited to go run. And downtown Charleston is just an amazing place. I didn't appreciate it in high school. Appreciated it a lot in college. But that's how I got into running, was I would find places. I mean, it's kind of a joke about the sunbathing, but it's actually very true. True at the same time. But you got to get to a point where you can actually see cool things and feel good about it. So I always gave them that advice, like start with a goal and make sure there's a little bit more meaning behind the goal. Because if you can run 4, you get to Marion Square, that feels really cool. Take a rest, walk the block, and then run back. Then you'll maybe want to run 5, take another stroll down King Street, and then maybe run 6, take another stroll down Meeting Street. And then, if you can run 8, go across the bridge from the school and back. And actually I challenged the knobs. You don't get anything as a knob, like at all, including milk. And we all love milk. So I mean, get this. I told them, hey, if you run, 10 miles or something, I'll give y'all milk for a week or whatever. And not only did they run 10, these 2 knobs, they ran like 15 miles. So I gave them milk for like the rest of the year. So yeah, you gotta find like some motivation. So do you guys have any thoughts though on how do you make running fun?
For me, it's like run with your friends. Like if you run alone, it's a lot harder. And I fortunately have a great running base. I can run with BE kids. I can run with Wando kids. I can run with Magnet kids. I can run with Zane. I can run with someone is always like, okay, let's go for a run. Like there's no one that I can't. It's never a time when no one else is like not down to run. So we have group chats, and I'll just be like, oh, someone want to go for a run at Park West at 7, and I'll have like 2 or 3 kids. They'll be like, yeah, I'm down. I'll be there. And so that's kind of a great help, because then we put music on and just talk and just get some miles in. That's probably a friend base is what I'd say is the best way to run miles.
Yeah,
I got to agree with that. And getting into some mischief. We used to, I know at the Citadel, we'd find the guys on the bikes carrying people on the back and talk trash to them and get in races with them going down King Street.
Oh yeah,
I always look forward to those.
That's funny.
It's always fun. Just stuff like that to change up the same old routine.
Yeah. And now I think about it too, we would create games too, some of which we probably can't even share here. But I mean, one game on a more notable day, it was like Memorial Day or something like that. I took some knobs and some underclassmen too, and we went on a run, and whoever spotted the most American flags got a prize at the end. And so everyone kept count on their own, whoever shouted out, flag or whatever, they got the point. And so that was also a good tool to. There was a lot of fun. Everyone who joined that run really enjoyed it.
Cool.
Charles, any thoughts for you? Are you like, bro, I snatched 200 pounds?
Yeah,
man.
no. No, I'm just kind of amazed at hearing you all stories about running. I guess from the spectator aspect of running, you think it's just kind of one person. You got a coach and you got teammates, but you don't know how deep that bond goes. And so hearing you all's kind of stories, and especially just how you like running with your friends. I've never thought about that, but that's a really cool concept. Yeah. Really cool thing.
Yeah, it is a little noteworthy to me because it's always been a challenge for me, and everyone's got their own deal. I'm just naturally a more individualistic person. But it was always a challenge because it was tough to find someone that wanted to run at exactly my pace or was in the exact same training cycle as I was. But I guess if you strip kind of all the science away, as long as you get out there, you're going to get better.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in the long run, probably if you have a running partner, it probably in the long run is a lot better than always having to feed your own motivation and track your progress. So I do like that. Well, let me ask you this. We always like to give honor. Is there one person or one coach that you might want to give some additional honor to, and why you like them so much?
Oh, there's so many. I've had so many amazing coaches. I know everyone will say that, but I actually have throughout from when I was 7 to now, I've had honestly the best coaches I could ever wish for, or anyone could. But as of through high school, Coach Kenny he's the boys track distance coach, and Coach Clizzy too, our main head coach. But he just coaches us through cross country, and he has the girls distance through track, and we have the boys distance coach. But Coach Kenny has changed I guess my running world. He's made it kind of real to me. He he knows how to like make you an 800 runner, because he was an 800 runner in college. He was phenomenal and almost won. He got second at Penn relays 3 times. He always tells us.
Second at
awesome.
Penn relays.
Yeah.
So educate me really quick. What is that?
Penn relays is like not nationals, but like a during the school year or like season, like huge event. It's would like almost as like big as like a national meet. Would you all say?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, like in a way. And he just like his stories, he can just go. He loves his stories, and honestly, like they get you so motivated to run. And there's so many of them, and
The stories get better the older you get.
Better the older you get. That's right. That is true though. But he's just a great coach, great person, and yeah, that's for at least through high school, he's been the most changing coach for me. Like he's helped me change the most.
Yeah. Top notch. And Will, you've had college coaches and high school coaches. Would you say there's any characteristic that comes to mind too, as far as what makes for a great coach?
One thing I noticed was the best coaches I ever had were the ones that had the experiences we had, were distance runners like us.
Right.
Because I know my coach in high school, he's a good guy and everything, but he was a hurdler, not a distance runner. So he wasn't quite the best at educating us on how to run and the process and everything. But
That's a good point.
as we got into college, our coach, Erin Leonard, she ran for Auburn. She was a very strong runner, very well educated. The only thing she never could grasp the concept of is like, you don't get 12 hours of sleep? I don't understand that. So we had to educate her on the Citadel way, but other than that, I really enjoyed having her, and she really moved me up as far as dropping my times and everything else. So she was an awesome motivation for me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Pretty cool. So we're always about development and guidance. Is there one thing that's maybe come to mind over your running career, whether it's running related or not, that you'd recommend others to kind of grasp, concept wise, to just have a better quality of life and just be better?
Back to that friend group, honestly, like having a good base of friends that motivate you and support you and like keep you, I guess, in it. And that is the biggest thing that has probably made me the athlete I am like today. Yeah. Like having that.
Do you feel like that's an additional challenge these days, or is it just kind of like any other thing? You just kind of try at it.
It is, but it isn't. Like it is a challenge, but I enjoy doing it. Like I enjoy hanging out with friends. And, I enjoy it, but not necessarily a challenge. Like maybe a little bit, but it's not like.
Because I know some people out there, they might be saying, well, I don't even know if these people exist. Where are these people that I can befriend? Because if it's as easy as just, hitting a friend button or whatever,
right.
You can do that in the virtual world. But I guess it, it takes time, I think, to build relationships. And one thing I've noticed too is likes attract. And so once you make a decision that you want to be a good runner, it almost seems like,
everyone
or
else.
anything. Yeah, it almost seems like those people start appearing in your life, or they become. They either are drawn to you, or now you're just more aware that they were there the whole time.
Yeah.
Whenever you make a decision, whether it's running or art or anything, weightlifting, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that. Yeah. Cool. And then how about one achievement that you might be most proud of?
Maybe that 4x8 would be easily up there.
Yeah.
I won the 800 for state this year for 3A.
Nice.
So that's another
That's
one
solid.
that I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
And I'd say those are the top 2.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's higher up, but because you have the team aspect, and I'm proud of the 3 years, and I've also worked at the 800 for that, but that's more individual, but they're also both. I don't know. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them both equally. I'll call it equal.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We're definitely not fishing for a I'm not proud of this type. I like it. Yeah, one thing that comes to mind for me years ago, I did a half Ironman. And I don't know, this one always sticks in my mind as one of my most proudest achievements. Because number one, I had to raise money to do this race. It was through a group called Team in Training. Highly recommend it. It's a cool group. They do like marathons, half marathons, and some triathlons. And that'd probably be one of mine. It was in Savannah. It was a half Ironman. And so not only was I able to raise money I'll be honest, I didn't hit my goal. I had to. Well, you have to hit your goal. You have to supplement the money with your own funds. But it was cool. It got me out of my comfort zone. I had to speak in front of people to raise money and that sort of thing. And then on top of that, I didn't even know one of my friends from high school who was a state champion runner, the best in school, one of the best in the state. I got to the finish line about 2 minutes later. He comes through. I was like, "Come on, baby, come on! I've caught up." I looked at the times. He killed me in the bike. I don't know if he like went to the bathroom for a while or I killed him in the bike. He beat me in the run. I don't know if he just got off the bike and went to the bathroom or what. But biking has always been my forte in the triathlon sport. So at least I have that. But that was my pride. A little bit of competitiveness going there. We're friends too, though. So
That's cool.
that'd be one of mine. Y'all have any that you guys want to share?
Yeah, dude. I'll be honest, man. Right. So I guess like track is by far like my worst sport. I actually did it in
By
high
far.
school by far.
Like worse than badminton,
Look,
worse
man,
than
I could
what else
probably
is there?
play lacrosse better than I did track. So at first I was a high jumper, and I couldn't get the form down because it's not just like just jumping over it, right? It's you gotta do a whole bunch of stuff.
right.
So I went to my first meet. I think this was indoor track, and there are two uprights that hold the pole that you're supposed to jump over. I jumped into the two uprights, right? So that was pretty embarrassing, right? And up in Virginia, like track is kind of like their sport for high schoolers. And then I ran cross country earlier, so when I tried out for like the indoor track team, they had me run some indoor event, but I didn't know. I should have probably figured this out. But the indoor track is shorter than a regular track. So I think I was running like the 800. I can't remember the indoor events. I don't quote me or whatever. And so I went out fast thinking that it was like only 2.5 laps that I would have to run. I go out fast. I cross the finish line and my hands are up. And dude, and I was in the last heat. So I know what it, like the slow heat. All of a sudden, man, two guys whipped past me. And I looked at the scores table and they're like, "You still have another lap." And I was just like, I just jogged the final lap, dude. And then I throw up and nobody on my team talks to me. So track is not my sport,
You
dude.
threw up just to be dramatic in that case.
Yeah, probably
you
so.
didn't need to do that.
Probably so. But yeah, that was the extent of my track experience. So good times, man.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that very vulnerable story.
It was vulnerable, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first we were going for proudest moments, but we go for
no.
most vulnerable are even better. They're even better.
I guess for me would be learning to pole vault. I really
Learning
enjoy
to
that
pole vault.
sport. It's very technical, but it broke up the monotony of running all the time. And I learned later on that my dad was actually a vaulter for a while as well.
Nice.
Back in the day. Of course, he ran the 440 and 880 as well, which back when it was in yards, but back in the Stone Age.
I didn't even know that, to be honest. I didn't know he was being yards.
So if you ever hear someone say 440 or 880, you know they're old.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Got it.
I'll be on the lookout.
Yeah.
But it's very enjoyable. The funny thing about pole vaulting too, I learned, is the mentality is a lot different. In running, everything's very cutthroat, very competitive. In pole vaulting, everybody helps each other out. I mean, it's crazy. Like any of the guys are like, "Hey man, if you try this instead, it'll help you with your next jump and everything like that." So that was interesting.
That's good.
Yeah.
Had you ever, when you first got started, gone up for a pole vault and then come backwards?
I've never fell backwards, no, but I have missed the actual planning box, and this was actually at PE because there's a gap between the pit and where the
it's
pot
not
is.
a great pit.
No, and I ended up, instead of going up, I went forward and almost I hurt my back pretty bad that day. And after that, my distance coach was like, "Okay, you're not vaulting anymore," because he was upset I couldn't run in the 4x8 that race.
Oh man.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, I got some respect for that.
Yeah.
I've fallen off my bike a few times. I don't know if that counts. It's probably not nearly on the same level. Well, I'm imagining messing up a pole vault's kind of like what I've done on my bike, but I'm in the air. That'd be awful.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because when you get in a triathlon, I don't know if y'all have a bike with clip pedals,
Oh yeah.
but for those, have you done triathlon yet, Aidan?
I have not.
Okay.
My friends have done one. I've thought about doing one.
You should, dude.
Like a sprint triathlon.
Yeah, you
Not
should.
Nothing
Totally get
Ironman,
into
but
it.
I want to try one, so I
Yeah.
might try one soon. but-
Yeah. so the first triathlon I ever did, I didn't have clips, but after my first triathlon, I was like, I'm going to get into this sport, and it's going to be great. You know, I wasn't very good at all. I don't know what I was thinking, but I did. And so I bought a bike off of Craigslist, and I bought clip pedals. And so when you first get these clip pedals, you got to practice in like your neighborhood for a while. You got to just practice because you forget that you're in clips. And literally multiple times, I came to a stop sign, and I just slowly fell sideways on the ground. And so I've had those experiences on the bike, sadly, multiple times. Never really got seriously injured. Sometimes it would mess up the bike, though. I'd get it realigned.
Yeah.
You know,
That's crazy.
It's kind of similar to just throwing your bike on the ground. You know, it'll kind of screw things up. And that's the worst, because then if you try to ride with a screwed up bike, then you will have possible issues.
Yeah.
So, well, great, guys. Well, as we start to come to a close, again, a big thing that we like is just development and encouragement. And so I'll lead with just a thought that was kind of on my heart from a book called No Limits by John Maxwell. And just want to give you a message and give the listeners a message that, you know, you really have no limits. Every limit that we have is self-imposed, basically, and is an agreement that we make with ourselves for the most part. And just want to encourage you, you know, whatever you think your limit is right now, I want to ask or challenge you that your limit's probably way higher than you even think it is. And that goes for everyone out there, because you'll be surprised at just what you can do whenever you focus on a goal, and then you'll hit it inevitably. You know, you'd be surprised. Even if you don't hit in the next year, you'll inevitably hit a goal that you really, really want. And that'll encourage you to then strive for another goal. And so I want to encourage you with that, and encourage the listeners from a book called No Limits. I meant to bring the book. I'll give some more stuff from it in the future. So we're all about books and development.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that's a key part. If I can't stress enough how much I'm a proponent of people just reading books that are going to better themselves.
Right.
And if you like fishing, that's great. I personally like nonfiction and stuff that's applicable for me. That's how I like to do. Mm-hmm. But we can't stress that enough, especially for the listeners, to go out and just find something, whether it's the Bible or whether it's a book by John Maxwell, which I recommend, or any of these others. Just find something you like.
Yeah.
So that would be my encouragement.
Yeah, Aidan, man. It's been like really cool to talk to you. I met you today, but it's cool getting to know you. It's cool. I do want to second what Kyle was saying and just kind of encourage you. But also one thing that you speak about a lot is your friend group. And I think that's very valuable, not just in your sport, right, but just in life in general. Because I'm sure you've probably seen some folks at school, or you will later on in life, who have bad friends, and it kind of takes whatever potential that person had down, right? So just want to encourage you, man, like to keep with having good friends and really keep doing what you're doing. It's been nice hanging out with you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
I guess for encouragement, I'd say keep enjoying the sport. I see so many times guys will stop enjoying it, and this goes for any sport really. When it becomes more of a job than it does something that you enjoy doing, I think you have to step back for a little bit and just rethink things of why you started doing the sport. And it seems like you're doing very well and you enjoy it very well, but just keep enjoying it. Don't let it become a task.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And thank you guys for all this. This is like, just to go over everything is very helpful, and get to take a step back and look at everything.
We love to do it, man. I mean, we'll now, final thoughts and final thanks. It's been awesome to sit down with you, for a little over an hour here in a really cool spot, man. Get to know your world a little bit here in the track community. Again, I didn't do track. I was telling your friend Zane that senior year I wanted to do everything. So I was doing baseball, and I tried to do soccer, and tried to do tennis and all this stuff. I tell the track club, or I tell the track coach every day, "Hey coach, I'm coming out today." I literally told him that for like 5 weeks. He probably thought, this dumb 18-year-old, he can't do all this. And it's kind of true. You are limited with the time you have and the focus you have, so you have to steward that and make sure you focus on the things that you really like in the time you're given, and make sure that what you're doing is going to have a much more meaningful impact. So those would probably be my final thoughts, and just give final thanks to you guys for co-hosting with me, and thank the Citadel, give a shout out to the Citadel for all they do. I mean, I as much as I had rough times there, it's obviously a great place to be from. And the Citadel especially helped tee me up for the success that I get to live out today, financially, I'd say character-wise and all that. I owe a lot to the teachers, professors, mentors at the Citadel and beyond. So, and give a shout out to my church, and John Holm, the pastor, and Brian Dugan and all of them, because we got summer camp coming up with high school soon. So
Nice.
give them a shout out, or I'll be there. So
Nice.
we got Callie in the back. I'll give a shout out to our team, Callie, Neil, hospitality. And I think that'll be mine.
Yeah. For me, man, as always, Kyle, thanks, for having me out here. Guys, thanks for having me. It's really been cool, just having a cool conversation with you all. I'd also like to thank, I've been thinking about this guy earlier this week, but our pastor, Stephen Popovich.
Yeah, brother.
He's definitely somebody, man, who has kind of been really instrumental in my life. So just really quick shout out to him. Always shout out to Chandler. Man, it's been an honor and blessing to be hanging out with you guys. I'm excited to try out some running things. Run with friends. We probably run a 10-minute mile, but that's okay too. That's okay.
That's it. How about you, Will?
Just thanks for having me on the show again. I do appreciate the opportunity to come out here to meet this awesome athlete right here and enjoy meeting you guys. Excuse me. Thanks for that Citadel connection. Helped, I think, a little bit there, and I always see that it helps anywhere I go. It's just something that's very interesting, but I just appreciate allowing me to be a part of this today.
Yes. I'd like to thank y'all for sharing your stories with me and kind of giving me a guidance on all life choices and running and all that.
Yeah.
And from another perspective, seeing it all. And and shout out to my friend group. Hi guys. Shout out, boys.
Hi guys.
But thank you for everything. This has been awesome.
Yeah,
experience.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid. And where would you like people to be able to find you? Any contact you want to plug?
Aidan9990 on Instagram.
Hey.
Follow me.
Perfect. Well, thanks again, guys. This has been a blast. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool.
Awesome. Sweet deal, dude.
8990.
Yeah.
We were meant to live for so much more. Have we lost our sight?